Hey guys, and welcome to another dungeon walkthrough guide for Final Fantasy XIV. Today we are going to go through the Copperbell Mines. This is the third dungeon in the list, and this is also still the dungeons that you're going to run into if you do the main scenario questline. So keep following that questline and you'll unlock more dungeons. Let's see, I'm going to do this one as a Dark Knight. Alright, time to queue for it. Hopefully this doesn't take too long. This dungeon isn't too bad. It's an early dungeon, so it's not going to be very hard. Keep in mind that if you don't want to play with other people, you can still do duty support through this one as well. I believe all the main scenario dungeons can be done with duty support. But the side quest dungeons that are unlocked through side quests cannot. So those you have to do with other players. Alrighty, time to get started. Time to jump into the mines. Let's see how this goes. Alright, right off the bat we got some enemies. Got a Spriggan and some Goblins. Make sure you pick up the key, and you're gonna open up the blasting door. Wait for everybody to get on the elevator, and then you'll use the lever. More Spriggans. I believe if you pull some of these enemies far enough, they'll de-aggro and go back. Yeah. So two of our enemies decided they were going to go back to where they came from. Two more decided they'd go back where they came from. So if you're in a hurry and you want to get through this pretty quickly, if you just keep pulling forward, you'll lose like 4 of the enemies that you dragged along. As I've said with all my videos, if you aren't comfortable with pulling this many enemies, feel free to, go at your own pace. Everybody plays differently. So don't feel like you have to, pull the whole dungeon. If you're new, take your time. Alright, so for this part, looks like one of our friends is going to help us with it. But you'll grab the fire sand that's sitting on the ground, you'll put it in the powder chamber, and then you'll use the blasting device. So a lot of interacting with items. And that'll bust open your path. First boss. So this red symbol on me currently, this is usually on, the tank. This is what's called a tank buster. So if you see it on your character, it's going to do a lot of damage. And sometimes, depending on, the situation and whether or not the tank is dead, it might end up on a healer or a DPS. And most of the time, it can kill them instantly. So it's like a defense check. Other than that, he's pretty easy to beat. One down, two to go. You're gonna grab the key. You're gonna open up another blasting door. There's a chest around the corner if you want to grab it. If not, don't worry about it. Wait for everybody to get on. And pull the lever. Alright, so there's two paths, left and right. Unfortunately, you can't drag the enemies into the center because they de-aggro once you go past the entrance to the cave. So you'll have to just kill them in their respective rooms. And then they'll drop fire sand for you. There's a treasure chest in the back too if you want it. And then more fire sand. Grab the other fire sand. There is a ton of fire sand in this. Big ol' slime. They actually changed this fight when they were reworking the A Realm Reborn dungeons, so it's a lot simpler than it used to be. So when it uses Divide, it's going to pop out a bunch of little slimes. Those little slimes, after a little while, will have a big ol' AoE like that. So just make sure you're not near any of the little slimes. Alrighty, boss number 2 down. Pretty easy. So for this part, there's a few paths that you can take. I always just go straight in the middle, and then I hug the right wall and do it this way. There's a bunch more enemies over there, but since you don't get experience for killing individual enemies, just bosses, I never really bother with them. So you can kind of just skip over them. Then you got some enemies down here, I believe. Nope, I'm thinking of the hard mode. Alrighty, coming up on the last boss. This one's not too hard. By now you should have the hang of avoiding orange circles. Want to make sure you get in close for that. He definitely likes to stomp around. Another tank buster. And just like that, your third dungeon is done. Make sure you give your commendations and you roll for any loot that you might want. And then you leave. just like that, another dungeon is done. So next up is Halatali. So this dungeon is a little bit different from the other ones. This one's unlocked via a side quest. So when I make that guide, I will let you guys know where the side quest is. I have to look it up. I don't really know it on hand. But thank you so much for watching, and be sure to like and comment if you would like to interact with me. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you, and have a great day.